Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rudi and thank you so much for being here. Those of you who are subscribed to my channel are going to be like, who is that? That's not Rudi, that's somebody else. I don't know. Maybe that's LA Rudi because it sure ain't Nashville Rudi. Well, surprise, we are going to be doing my wedding makeup trial today. This is the look that I came up with and I absolutely love it. I think it looks gorgeous. We'll get into the details of literally every single thing, every product, but I did want to share that I am basing all of this look off of this photo. I'm going to pop it in here. I found this on Pinterest, and if you are doing your own wedding makeup, I highly recommend that you find a photo to really pull your inspiration from because it helps so much in really narrowing down what products you want to use, how you want the look to go, and it really cuts down on your time as well if you're going to practice it. I feel like I was able to mimic the look pretty well. Obviously, me and this girl, we have different skin tones, different eye shapes. There are a lot of things that are different about us, our lashes, our eyebrows, but it's really more focused on the colors, and I was able to find most of the things that I wanted to in my collection, and we are going to be going over all of them. I'm not going to be going over the skincare prep for the day. If that's something that you're interested in, let me know and I'm happy to make another video on it. I'll talk about that a little bit later on. We're really just focusing on the makeup forward. I can't stop looking at these lashes. You guys know I don't wear false lashes. I'm wearing falsies. We're doing the whole damn thing. We're doing foundation, primers, setting sprays. We're doing everything. And I am going to pick up my wedding dress today, so I wanted to get a good look of what everything would look like together. And I highly recommend that you do the same if you are a bride. Try and align your wedding makeup trial and your dress fitting on the same day so that you can get an overall look of exactly what you're going to look like on the big day to make sure you like what you see, have your wedding jewelry on, all of that, so that you know before you go in on the big day that you don't have anything to worry about. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe. We talk about more than just my wedding on this channel. We also talk about skincare, beauty, mental health. We do vlogs. We talk a little bit about fashion, and I would love to have you subscribe. Okay, let's get started. I am self-tanned. I've done my skincare routine, and if you guys want a video on all of the stuff that I'm doing to prep my skin to get ready for the day, like all of my day of skincare, self-tanning, all of that, let me know, but this video is going to be more focused on the actual makeup look. I'm going to pin back my hair. And as you can see, I have my Dew under eye masks on. So I'm using these for a few reasons. One, because I really want very nice, bright, very hydrated under eyes before I get started with the rest of my makeup. And two, I am horrible at making the shape of a outward V with my eyeshadow. I'm just not good at it. And these give you an automatic lineup to your eyebrows of the shape to create. So I'm actually going to be doing the hardest part of my makeup first, which is going to be my eyeshadow and my lashes, which I might wait until the very end to do lashes actually, because I have a feeling that it's going to be very hard for me. I'm really not a lash wearer if you know me. Like I like my natural lashes, but for this event, I definitely want to wear falsies and I want to see what they look like today. As you saw in the intro, I am trying to kind of match this photo. I absolutely love the look. I think that it is very natural, but also very classic bridal at the same time. And I also wanted to find a look that didn't have any eyeliner. And that one was the perfect one. I found it on Pinterest. So let's get started. Oh my God, I'm really nervous. Okay, so I am gonna start with an eyeshadow primer. This is just my go-to one from Milani. This is the Milani eyeshadow primer. It has lasted me forever. And it is a nude color. It just sets a really nice base, but you could of course use your concealer. And I'm gonna put a super thin layer down because I really don't want it to be too greasy because that can actually impede your eyeshadow and make it bunch up, and there's a chance that it will actually crease more if you have too many layers on. My wedding is 2 weeks away, by the way. Can't believe it. It has been a whirlwind, a roller coaster experience. If you wanted to learn more a little bit about my wedding, as you know, I have called my husband, and that is because we are married. But we were set to have our wedding during 2020. We've pushed it twice. So now we're finally at our wedding date, although we've been married for a year and a half. Okay, so I need to pull up the photo so that I can reference it myself. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm using these two palettes, by the way. I am using the Tartelette in Bloom, which is just a gorgeous, very neutral palette that I think literally everyone could use and love. especially if you like cooler tone shades, this palette is gorgeous. Great for weddings. And then I'm using this Jason Wu All Mattes palette, which is just all browns, and great for just blending and getting colors to mesh better together because there are so many different variations of brown. So I'm gonna start with kind of the all over shade that she has that's almost up to the brow bone. Granted, we have different eye shapes, but I'm first gonna take this nude shade here in the corner, and I'm going to just kind of set the eyeshadow and set the primer and just kind of start this brown grading. Honestly, I'm gonna be a little bit messy with these lighter shades because you just don't need to be super precise, especially if you have one of these on, which is one of the great things about it. I actually kind of practiced yesterday on one half of my face. I'll insert a picture. So I kind of know what I want to do, but you know, I still want to tweak it a little bit. Okay, so she kind of has a mix of warm and cool tone browns in there. So I'm going to mix this shade and probably this one and just kind of go back and forth between the two of them to help get the next shade of gradient in. And again, I'm not going to be super particular about it. However, I am looking straight ahead to continue to keep this shape of pulling out towards the eyebrow. I don't want it to be too rounded because I have quite round eyes and I really want this look of kind of a blown out cat eye without eyeliner. I'm also just going to bring that down into the crease and allow it to kind of just be on the lid as well for easier blending once we get to our darker colors. Also, I think you could really use any blending brush for this. I am using a really old Eco Tools brush that is just very fat and very fluffy, which allows for a lot of color to be put down at once and for it to kind of be already blown out by the time it hits your eye. In the picture, this brown color is kind of pretty far inwards by her eyebrow. Granted, we have different eye shapes, but I do want to play with that shape a little bit because if I'm not going to play with it today, you know, I'm not going to have any other time to do it. So the reason that I am picking up or doing my trial today is because I am picking up my wedding dress and having my final fitting. So I really wanted to get a good glimpse of what it would actually look like when I'm on the day. All right, so now we're gonna darken up some of this outer corner, and I'm gonna mix these two browns here. They look pretty light, but comparatively to these, they are a different tone. This is the shade Jet Setter and Smarty Pants. Jet Setter is this more cool tone shade, and that's actually the shade I wanna focus on first because you can see in her outer corner that it is a little bit cooler, and I'm gonna try and focus this more on the outer corner than pulling it into the crease so much. However, again, still feeling like I can be a little bit messy before we go in with our darkest shade. And also, if you notice, I'm using the same brush here to help with the blending, but if you feel like you need a smaller brush to get into the crook of your eye, totally go for one size less, but a similar style brush. Also, I'm doing this as if it's a tutorial. I don't know that anybody is gonna wanna do this look, but if you do, here are your tips. There's nothing that can't be fixed with blending, but on the other hand, keep in mind that the more that you blend something, the more the colors are gonna muddy together. So there is such a thing as too much blending if you want a difference in the color gradient there. So for the darkest shade, I am going to take a smaller fluffy brush. This is a Luxe number 231 small tapered blending, and I am taking the darkest shade in the Jason Wu palette, and I'm going to hit the very, very corner of this eye here and really focus it on the lash line and not so much in the crease. Although there is a little in the crease, it's not anything super blended like our other shades. Also, I think, you know, remember if you are using a lid shade that's different than the rest of your neutrals, which I am, you can be a little bit messy towards the center of the lid because you're gonna cover that up with a shimmer or with another color. But for me, I'm covering that with a shimmer, so I don't really feel so nervous about it not being super blended on the lid. Now I'm just kind of softening up the edge here with a brush with no product on it. So I'm gonna leave the mattes this way for now. We'll definitely be retouching up all of those colors, but for the main portion of the eye and the inner corner, a bit of the brow bone, we are using this quick stick from Tarte, and this is in the shade Rose Gold Luster. So this is the color that I'm using for that. I think it matches almost perfectly to the photo, and these last on the eyes very well. So I really want to focus this on the center of the lid, towards the inner corner, and then on the brow bone. And I'm just going to swipe it on, and then I'll blend with my finger most likely. Again, being a little bit messy here, and then I'm just kind of tapping in to help it blend naturally in with the powders. Once I put these down, I will definitely go back in with powder to help clean it up and add a little bit more blending. But then I will probably add another layer of the shimmer on top. Here is a close-up of what we're looking at for the eyes right now. I hate the way eyeshadow looks when you haven't, I'm adding a little bit of a matte white up here, when you haven't done the rest of your face and you take off like whatever you're working on, you're like, I look horrible. But you just have to trust that it comes together at the end, because it does, it always does. Just take some lashes and some highlighter, but you know, at first you're like, oh my god, this is awful. I think I'm gonna leave the eyes as is for now, and then we will definitely revisit once we've sort of started working on the rest of the face. And you can see how beautiful of a line that leaves for the rest of your makeup. Like that beautiful lifted look, I didn't have to do anything. And we will definitely be cleaning that up, and we'll be, you know, getting it a little bit less. But for now, it really gives you that lifted look without any work on your end. So I highly recommend either these or another silicone kind that will give you that shape without any work. For primer, you guys know I'm not really a primer person, but I definitely want to prime on my wedding day, knowing I'll be wearing this makeup for a long time. So I am going to use the Tatcha, the Silk Canvas Primer. This is a gorgeous primer. Very similar to the e.l.f. Putty Primer if you have that. It's just works so well to help fill in your pores. So I'm just going to take a little bit on the back of my nail here. It usually comes with an applicator, but I got the mini size. And I'm just going to put this in the areas where I have feel like I have larger pores. And I'm just gonna tap that in with my finger. You don't need to use a tool for everything that you do on your face, because a lot of the times the heat of your fingers is actually gonna help blend product better than if you were to use a brush. Same reason why I like using a sponge, because I find that it helps mimic the feel of having your fingers doing the work. And I think for my foundation today, I will probably use a sponge to help make it look natural, although, you know, I obviously want that coverage, so I may go back in with a brush afterwards. And I'm just gonna kind of fill in my smile lines here, but I don't wanna go too crazy because I don't want my makeup to slide off. You can see I have some redness here that I'll need to cover up. I've got a few active pimples. Okay, we're looking crazy, but good. Now, for my foundation, I picked this up specifically for my wedding, and that is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. I am in the shade 5.75, and I've just heard such good things about this. I have tested it to make sure that it was the right shade while I'm self-tanned, and it is. I wore it yesterday. It's absolutely stunning, and I think that it was definitely the right choice. So I'm going to pump that on the back of my hand, really saturate my sponge, and I really want to work in light layers because I really don't want too heavy of coverage on my wedding day. I want natural, flawless vibes, and my skin is not that bad, and so I don't need to go super heavy with the coverage, in my opinion. And again, I find that the sponge gives you much more of a natural finish if that's what you're going for, and then you can go in and touch up those red areas with a concealer rather than having like a very thick layer of foundation. Here's that coverage. It is really beautiful. It's actually a shade lighter than my current self-tan, which is fine because I can always add bronzer, but the coverage is gorgeous, especially for an event. So if you are looking for a great foundation that looks super natural and wears well, totally recommend it. Okay, next I am actually going in with a color corrector for my under eyes. This is the Sephora Bright Future color corrector. This is sort of like a gel consistency, and it dries really flat. I know that's not necessarily the word that I'm looking for here. It dries down very skin-like with minimal product, which to me is ideal for layering. So it really helps with that darkness under the eye without adding a layer of like product to where your concealer will look heavy. So I use this all the time, but I think for events, especially if you're gonna have a lot of product on, this is a really good one to try out. And now I'm going in with a product I literally never use and have saved for my wedding day, which is the Bye Bye Under Eyes from IT Cosmetics. I am in the shade medium. This is a travel size. As you can see, it is teeny, 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 tiny. This stuff is potent, okay? Like I take truly the smallest amount. I blend it on the back of my hand to kind of warm it up. I mean, look at that. That was like barely anything that I used. And then I place it with my finger. And this stuff is pigmented, okay? Like this is a event day, wedding day concealer, okay? It's not like a normal concealer that you would like really put under the eyes. It's kind of like paint. And so I am using a tiny, tiny amount. And if I feel like I need more, I will build it up, but you really want to be careful with that stuff because it can get overboard very easily, but it does an absolute beautiful job of coverage. And again, I'm using my sponge to blend this out because it is so potent that I just don't think that a brush would look natural enough for me. I think it would look quite cakey, especially because I'm going to set this with a powder. So for any pimples that I may have, red spots, you can see I have some here and here and here. I'm going to use the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer with the tiniest brush that you can find. Literally, this is the accent brush from Real Techniques. Barely dab into this and set down a layer of coverage on top of that product just by patting it. Because I don't want to add a layer of coverage on anything except for that area. And then you want to kind of feather out around it, but really focus the majority of the product on the actual spot. And then you just want to kind of blend the edges out. And you can use a different brush for that, but my skin doesn't look too bad right now, so I'm not too concerned. There's boogers in there. Also, make sure you get your boogers out before you do this. Okay, now that I look like an actual pasty ghost, let's make it more pasty by setting certain areas of the face. I am not going to set my entire face because my wedding is in the late fall. I know that I'm not going to be too hot and I'm not going to be too sweaty. I have a strapless dress, so I feel pretty good about that. But I do want to set under my eyes, my chin, and the center of my forehead, especially under my eyes. So I'm actually using the Kosas Cloud Set Powder in the shade Feathery. This is my favorite powder for setting. It's just beautiful. I think I'm actually gonna set with my sponge because I find that that is the most natural coverage for a powder, but it also really sets in the skin. So the water on the sponge kind of helps tamp in the powder and making it look flawless. But just beware, like with this powder especially, this is a baked powder. It will hard pan if you use your sponge on it too much. So just be aware of that. I know how to fix that, so I'm not too concerned. Again, I'm not gonna go too crazy with the powder. I'm probably gonna have one on hand with me, and I'm gonna try and not powder around my mouth because that's where my smile lines set in. And I find that it's really hard for me to touch up that area with like a regular sponge during the night if it's already been powdered. It kind of just looks like this big cakey mouth. So I'm gonna try and avoid that. So for bronzer, I kind of am in a tizzy about what to do because you can see in this photo that she has quite a chiseled jawline and it's pretty cool toned. And I was playing yesterday with this Charlotte Tilbury product, which I bought for the wedding in particular. This is the Chic to Chic palette in the shade The Climax. And I think that these two colors are exactly what she has on. And so from what I was playing with, I agree. I think that this is perfect. So I am gonna go in with a angled brush, really focused on the outside ring there to set in this contour slash bronze look, and then take a smaller brush and use the center to pop that blush on the cheeks. And you're probably like, wow, you're using a lot of powder products. That's not really you. You're right, that's not really me. But for my wedding, it absolutely is me because I want it to last all night. And powder products are just easier to apply in layers when you're doing a heavier look. It's already looking a smidge pink from this center portion, so I may add a little bit of a warmer bronzer on top of this. But I like the idea of kind of having them blended together because it's gonna really look very seamless. You know, I love a bronzed nose. I'm just gonna take this down the chin as well. Also, this is a good video for me to go back and reference while I'm doing my makeup on the day of. Yeah, I kind of just want to warm up this look a little bit. So I'm gonna go in with the Kosas bronzer, which is like a shimmery, super warm powder. And just add a little bit. Just add a little bit of warmth in there. Nothing too crazy. Okay, I feel good about that. I know that some people are probably gonna want that super chiseled look. I just want an all over bronze, and I can kind of chisel things out day of if I am feeling really up to the task. But for now, I'm gonna stick with this for the bronzer. And then again, like we have time to go back in and fix things if we need to. This is the brush that I'm using for my blush. This is from a Tarte brush collection. There's no name on the actual brush itself, but it's kind of just a fluffy brush. It kind of looks like a highlighter brush actually, but it's a good size for the center of this boobie, the nipple if you will, which is what I want to focus on for the blush. So I'm just going literally and tapping the center to get that pink shade. And I really want to focus this towards the outer portion of my face because that's that lifted look that I'm going for, which is not my usual look again. But I just want to look a little bit more elevated and adult and more grown, hashtag. And I'm trying to not really focus that on the apples of the cheek, but I might take a little bit there just to give it a little bit of a youthful look, but nothing too crazy. I think that looks gorgeous. I love this duo. It's again called Climax. Now to really get some highlighting in here, y'all already know I'm going to use my Hollywood Flawless filter from Charlotte Tilbury. And this is like a Charlotte Tilbury look. I mean, she basically makes wedding makeup if you ask me. I'm gonna really focus this on the outer portion and bring it inwards even a little bit here because I want that highlighted look even in photos from the front on. And I see she has a lot on her Cupid's bow. She's got a good amount on the tip of her nose. Just the typical places that I would highlight and then maybe a little bit extra as well. Because we don't really have a lot of highlighting natural dewy products in this look, we have to add it all with this product. And you could easily add this into your foundation if you wanted to at the beginning of this look, to add a super glowy look, but I personally would rather add the glow artificially so that I don't have too much all over the face, especially if I am dealing with a breakout that day or whatever it may be. I'd rather just be able to pinpoint where I want that glow to be instead of having an all over glow and then trying to mattify certain areas of my face, if that makes sense. Here is that initial application, and I will probably be a little bit more heavy-handed with it on the day of. But I am going to go in with a little bit of a powder highlight on top of it. And that is the Essence Pure Nude Highlight. This is literally $3 or $4. It is gorgeous. And I'm going in with a very small fan brush. This is the e.l.f. fan brush. And this is the most perfect wedding day highlighter if you like a powder highlighter. And I'm just going to kind of set those areas that we just hit. And it adds another oomph of glow there while also kind of laying down the product so that it's not tacky. You see that? Oh, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. Super easy. You can't mess it up. I'm telling you, you literally can't mess it up. So from what I can see now, I really am liking the way that this has turned out on the eyes, but obviously we have some blending that we need to do with this lower lash line. First, I'm just going to take a clean fluffy brush. This is from Real Techniques. This is the base shadow brush. And I'm going to start to diffuse this line here very gently. We do not want to get rid of this shape, right? We really like this shape and the way that it looks headed out towards my eyebrow. So I'm just lightly buffing this to kind of get rid of that line of demarcation without getting rid of the shape. You can already see it starting to soften. And once we put on our lashes, it's going to look even softer. So I am not a huge fan of lower lash line eyeshadow, but I do think that it is necessary for this look. She has quite the dark shadows listed there, but I'm going to use the medium brown to start, see how I like it, and go from there. And I am using another Eco Tools brush. This is a kind of blending angle brush, which is perfect for the under eye. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of that powder on there and drag it from the corner of my eye down and just start there. I'm gonna do the same on the other side. And you can see that's already darkened it up a bit. I honestly don't want to go in with that super dark shade that she has under there, but I'm probably going to take a little bit more of this light brown and really dust it under the center of the eye, which she has, to add a little bit more depth. But I don't think I'm going to go in with that really dark shade under here because I've just never liked that look. I'm actually also going to take a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter and put some in my inner corner here just to brighten that area up, since we've kind of covered it with a lot of darker eyeshadows. Okay, I think I'm going to do my lashes literally very last. So let's do eyebrows and lips. I'm really scared. Okay, so for my eyebrows, I'm going to fill in using the Glossier Boy Brow in Brunette, and then I'm going to set them with the Patrick Ta Brow Gel. This stuff is like cement on your eyebrows. The only problem is it sets very quickly, and if you don't get it in the shape that you want it right when you use it, it will create little balls of product. So you got to be super quick with it, but it is amazing. I'm really just going to create a few little strokes of hair in those areas where I feel like, right here, for example, where I have a few hairs that are just out of place or missing. They're wanted by the FBI for being missing. And this eyebrow has always been pretty good, so I might fill in a little bit on the tail, but for the most part, she looks good. Here we go. Moment of truth. This stuff is intense. Okay. Make it quick, girl. Make it quick. I'm just raking it. Get it in a shape you like, and once it hits that shape, you gotta leave it alone. Boom. I kind of want to laminate my brows, but it's a little too late for that, you know? The wedding's in 2 weeks, so. Okay, those look pretty good for having done them so fast. I know this is silly, but I am going to add like a few fake freckles. I know that people don't like that, and that some people might say it's ruining the look. I think it makes it look super natural and like you are just glowing. Again, I'm not adding too many. I'm just putting them on the sides of my nose, because why not? And also, this is my trial, so if I decide that I don't like the fake freckles today when I put my dress on, then I just won't do them. It's always good to test things out, because you don't want to get to the day of and not like your makeup. And same with if you're getting your makeup done. Be honest with your makeup artist and tell them what you like and what you don't like, because you're literally paying them to do this, you know? So make sure you're upfront with them about everything. Okay, for lips, I know that everyone is telling me that I should wear a matte liquid lipstick, but I really don't want to. I hate liquid lipstick, hate the way it feels. Plus, my husband got me a Gucci lipstick that I have told him that I would wear on our wedding day since he got it for me like 2 years ago, and I'm going to keep that promise. However, I do need to go in with a lip liner first. This is the Sephora Contour Gel Lip Liner in the shade Nothing But Nude. This is a gorgeous lip liner. I love it. I really need to trim my mustache. As you can see, I really just fill in the corners and then the outline here, and then I'm gonna fill it in with the lipstick. And I know I shouldn't, but I'd rather look and feel comfortable than have to wear a liquid lipstick. I just hate liquid lipsticks, I'm sorry. I love it. I love the color. Oh, time for lashes. I'm really nervous. Okay, first I'm gonna curl my lashes and put on some mascara, a little bit of mascara, which I think is what you're supposed to do, right? I should have, like, you know, probably done some practice rounds on this but I really just didn't want to because I hate doing it. If worst comes to worst, I have a makeup artist who's gonna be there for my friends, and if I can't figure it out, then I'm just gonna have them do it for me. I'm actually gonna use the Merit mascara, which is a tubing mascara, but I will be using a waterproof mascara on the day of, which is gonna be the Lash Paradise. Okay, I'm not gonna do too much because I've already got some on my freaking eyeball. Because I'm going to blend them with a mascara. I can't imagine this video being very fun considering I have no idea what I'm doing. I am gonna go ahead and do my lower lash line while we're here though. This really makes my eyes look green. I love that. Okay, so for lashes, I'm using the Demi Wispies from Ardell and the House of Lashes adhesive. This is the clear adhesive. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I don't know why, but I just am so nervous. I literally only wear lashes on like Halloween. I'm not kidding. Let it sit, a pretty thin layer, and let it sit for like 30 seconds to a minute to get goopy. One of my concerns about wearing falsies was that I was gonna have to wear eyeliner to help cover the lash band. So if that ends up happening, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to figure it out as we go. I always see people doing that, so I'm gonna do that. All right, here we go. What if the glue starts drying before I'm ready to be done? Oh my God, this looks insane. This actually looks insane. This is a Demi Wispy. Does that look insane? Okay, these might be a little bit too much for me. Oh my God. Well, it's on, but not very well. Let's try the other one. And if I think it looks crazy, I might have to find a different lash. I don't know, you guys. That looks kind of crazy. Does that look crazy? No, yes, I don't know. I'm just not used to seeing myself in lashes, I guess. My eyeballs are mad at me. Ah! I don't know, you guys. I think these lashes might be too much for me. So the lashes are on. They are large, even though they're just demis. Otherwise, I absolutely love it. I'm gonna use this Peach and Lily Glass Skin Veil Mist to help set this, but on the day of, I will be using an actual setting spray. This one's just really, really light, and the spritz is super fine, so it's not gonna go everywhere, and then I'm just gonna lightly tap that in. Okay, here we are, the final look. I will say I did two things to help blend the eyelashes in a little bit better. I actually took this Stila liquid liner and I kind of brought that line down into my inner corner to help with that connection. And I also tight lined the top waterline with this MAC brown, and I feel like it made a huge difference in kind of connecting those two without looking so separated. The longer I look at it, the less I'm like concerned about the size of the lashes. I'm honestly gonna ask Reed when he gets home too, because he sees me every single day and I just think that he's gonna automatically be like, whoa, you look amazing, or he's gonna be like, ah, that is a lot of makeup. So, which you guys know, I don't really give a fuck what he has to say about it, but I do, like, I'm curious as to whether he thinks it's a lot. I also am going to hang out with my friends today, and they are going with me to pick up my dress, so they'll be able to tell me what they think about the look. I really like it. I think it's super bridal. I think it's beautiful. I'm so glad that I found that picture, because I think that it is a perfect way to really get what you're looking for out of a look and spend time with your makeup in your collection and match what you already have to that look, and I think that you'll come out on top. If you guys have questions on anything that we talked about today, the brushes, the products, let me know in the comments below. I'm always answering my comments. Sorry, the sun just went down. Also, if you want a video again on my skin prep for the day, let me know, because there are a lot of little things that I think people forget about when it comes to flash photography. Like, you want to skip SPF on that day. I think that your primers, your moisturizers, the way that you prep your skin is really important. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I'm happy to do that. Same with kind of my body care. I am getting self-tanned by someone else, by a professional, but I can definitely talk about the self-tanning routine beforehand, making sure you're exfoliated and all of that jazz. I'm super excited to go pick up my dress today. I'll make sure to take a lot of pictures and I'll share them with you guys, obviously, and I'll share all of the wedding stuff once it comes in 2 weeks. I hope you loved this video. I know it was a little bit long, but I appreciate you sticking through it, and I hope you learned something, and I will see you guys in the next video really soon.